Alaman niyo.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever or whenever you may be. This is the overnight, and I do apologize for any confusion. Had a little bit of not quite technical issue. It's more user error. So I had to kill the other stream that was scheduled, and so hopefully everybody who finds their way over here. So far, we've got Gizzard Gary with us tonight. How's it going, Gary?
It's going pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And Vulcan Rumble is out there. I did get your email, and I emailed you back. I mailed your stuff out yesterday. And I sent you the tracking number. And Gizzard Gary, Gunmetal Guy USA, Ozzy Orsborn, Mr. Bob Davalina, The Saint, and 2 Live Moo. That's everybody so far that has said anything out there in the chat. G23. Good evening, good evening. Yeah, the way that StreamYard does their login, I logged in with the wrong email. So when I set up the stream, I do that on the desktop, and then I stream from my laptop. Well, it wasn't synced with my laptop because my laptop was logged in with a different email, and it took me a little while to figure out what was going on. And I could have done it, but then I lose all this goofy little video things, promos and intros and outros. So I just went ahead and rescheduled it real quick. But so Mr. Gary, the giveaway that we were going to do for the comments, only 3 people commented with #100.
Oh no!
Yeah, well, so that gives them very good odds.
Well, that's true.
How's it going, G-Webs?
Good, Midland. Thanks for hosting.
But Chris from the 740 did put 100 in his comment, but did not put #100. Do we count that or not?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me add him. I've got a Wheel of Destiny here. $7.40. So let me present here, and we'll do the drawing real quick. So we'll share that. So X-Bowman, Guns and Barbecue, Mr. Bob Davalina, and Chris from the 740 are the only ones that put, well, only 3 of them put hashtag 100. And then Chris, the panel has voted to let him in. So you've got a 1 out of 4 chance. So let's see. I've never used this one before, so hopefully we can. Oh, there it goes. This was just the first one that popped up. Oh.
Uh-oh. Controversy.
Oh. Chris from the 740. So I will get a hold of Chris and let him know that he won, which he may or may not know he even entered. So thank you to the others that did participate. Yeah, G23 saying hashtag rigged. Oops. Oh, for a while, up until, I think today, there was only one person that had entered. They entered Thursday. So, congratulations, Chris. Oh, I guess I can stop sharing that. Hang on here. It's kind of warm in here. I'm going to take off my flannel. We're kind of light on topics for tonight. I didn't really have a topic. I did see, I don't know if I just didn't remember, but the Supreme Court is going to hear the the ghost gun case in the next session. So I would think it will be a favorable outcome for us.
I certainly hope so.
I don't know exactly when it's supposed to be heard, but like
August or something, right?
Something like that. But it is scheduled. As far as I know, is that the only gun-related case that they're hearing?
I've only seen one person talk about it, so that's the only thing I know about.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I was when I was just kind of scrolling through YouTube on the phone, I came across a video of somebody talking about it. That's, like I said, I couldn't remember if I knew that or not and just had forgotten, or if I had not heard that yet.
So with Chris writing 100 in there, he wasn't saying like, I would like 100 types of things or something. He wasn't like just talking about the quantity 100 in a different topic.
It was just a congratulations on 100.
Oh. Yeah, it's a little different than let me enter the contest 100.
Yeah. Yeah, so I wasn't sure how to treat that.
I didn't have a working mic before.
Oh, sounds good now.
Anybody watch Deadpool and Wolverine?
I have not. I will when it comes out on some streaming service, like Amazon or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Saw you had a poll up about it.
Yeah, I know some people are gonna like it for sure. They like anything with Deadpool in it. I don't like how Deadpool. You ever seen the other Deadpool movies?
Yeah.
I don't like how Deadpool like looks at the camera all the time and says stuff. And in this movie, he says a whole bunch of stuff about like Disney and Fox, and I don't get any of that because I don't understand it. So I didn't, went over my head, and I just didn't. I don't like the fourth wall breaking stuff. Anyway, that's definitely in this movie.
I haven't. I never read the comics, Deadpool comics, so I don't know if he does that in the comics too.
Yeah, me either. I never even knew it was a thing until the movies came along. First time I seen him is in that one movie nobody likes, where I forget what movie. I think it was a Wolverine movie. The first Wolverine by himself movie.
Yeah.
They fight on a nuclear power thing at the end. Everybody hates that movie.
I did not. I don't remember. I know I saw it, and I remember not liking it on the whole, but I don't really remember it. The Saints, there's a new Dexter prequel, Paramount Plus. I never watched that, Dexter.
Yeah, me either. It's the serial killer show.
Yeah.
What movies have you been watching then?
I haven't watched anything in a while. I just haven't sat down in one place long enough to watch something.
Pulling a gizzard.
Yeah,
too much.
I plan on watching the King Kong Godzilla one.
Oh, you haven't even watched that one yet.
No, and I've got a free credit for DirecTV for movies, so I'll probably use that on there. And Hillbilly had recommended one, and I got that on the list. I forget the name of it. And I think there was one other one that somebody else suggested. I think you did. That I've got it marked. I just haven't been watching any movies lately.
Was it the Horizon one from Costner?
It was whatever kind of throwback kind of movie.
Twister?
No, because you had suggested the one with the lizard people.
Stop action stuff.
Yeah. And then you mentioned another one. And I have it saved on Amazon.
Fly Me to the Moon. You can watch that one. About the girl who comes in to be the PR for the moon landing.
I wasn't planning on it.
Kingdom of Planet of the Apes, the new Planet of the Apes.
I have not watched any of the new Planet of the Apes.
Oh, snap.
Well, I will say I watched about 5 minutes of one of them and turned it off because
That first one, where the first monkey starts talking?
I don't know which one it was. It was whatever was on TV at the time.
Oh.
Because I saw it, I thought, well, I'll give it a chance. And then about 5 minutes in, I'm like, no, I'm done. This is awful.
There's a couple where they speak monkey to each other the whole time, and you got to read subtitles, and that's pretty tough to watch because it's not even like a real language. It's just them being monkeys at each other. But they're talking. I think that's the second or third one. How about Furiosa, the Mad Max saga?
No, I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I didn't like the Thunder Road.
No, I don't like any of the new ones.
Or was it Thunder Road?
They're
Or
just super unrealistic now.
Thunder Road is Mitchum, Robert Mitchum movie.
Thunderdome?
No,
No,
it's Thunder Road, isn't it?
is it?
I think so. Mad Max Furiosa Thunder Road or something like that. And then she's driving a truck down a road.
Yeah.
We don't have any gas except we can drive constantly in the desert without stopping.
Uh-oh.
That did not sound good.
No, his device is disconnected.
Oh no.
Justin Grimm's out there. He said Furiosa was awful. The Sate is asking, consider an automobile classic car bracket. We have done muscle cars. We haven't done. Kind of depends on what you're going to consider classic cars.
So do muscle cars go to Shell stations? Is that where they go? Never mind.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind doing one on like old cars, like Duesenberg and stuff like that. But I don't know if there enough people kind of be into it to make it interesting for enough people.
Defunct car brands.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Do a Yugo bracket.
Oldsmobile. Pontiac.
Well, Yugo. The problem with Yugo wasn't so much the car company went out of business; the country went out of business.
Oh yeah. The car was so bad it caused the whole country to go down. It's
The saying is saying Saab is gone. I didn't know that. I don't follow Saab.
DeSoto, if you want to go back far enough. Yeah.
The goddamn bacon's out there. So they were talking about AMC last night.
The movie theater chain?
Probably the cars, American Motor Company Corporation. I'm not sure which one it is. Like the Javelin and
The Pacer.
Pacer, the Matador.
Oh, the mail Jeeps were AMC, weren't they?
I'm not sure.
I think they are. I was going to buy one time.
It
Or at
worked
least for a while there.
Yeah.
Ozzy said, so what does one do when a new gun comes out, Bodyguard 2.0, and nobody makes a holster for it? Ozzy,
Why make your own holster?
yeah.
I only wish I had that kind of talent.
The goddamn bacon Scion didn't last long either. I think one of Scion's problem is they were trying to target the youth, but it was kind of the elderly that were buying Scions. At least around here, you'd see the kids driving the TC, but like the XB and the was it AB or whatever the other one was, it was always retired people driving those. Mr. Bob Dabalina brings up Nash Rambler. It's a great song too. Beep beep. Vulcan Rebel said Saab stopped making cars. They still make airplanes.
Do you ever have a Saab?
I had a friend that did.
Yeah, I knew people that had them. I didn't like them.
They're ugly, but they worked.
Super uncomfortable. Sit in.
The Saint brings up the Ambassador, another AMC.
Yeah, forget about that one. Gremlin, yeah.
G23, so the Hudson.
Tucker.
Mike McLuhan. GM killed Saab when they killed Pontiac and Hummer. And Vocal Rumble said Scion were Toyotas, still good cars. And the Goddamn Bacon said rip Saturn. Oh, Saturns were, I don't think they were great cars, but people really liked them. They kind of sold themselves when people would look at them. My friend in high school, his parents bought a Saturn Storm, which was, was an okay car for driving around on the back roads in the middle of the night. So what do you, I was kind of thinking, kind of half thought out topics. Like for a rifle for home self-defense, does the caliber really matter? Or is it just more important that you have something?
Caliber matters.
Is most, unless what?
It's like saying, what if you just have a screwdriver? It'll work for everything, right? No.
Yeah.
So eyeglasses and your engine need two different screwdrivers.
Oh, that's true. I was kind of thinking more unless an intruder is specific, is either mentally ill or because most won't sit and have a shootout with you. So if you put up any resistance, they tend to flee.
Well, so then are you thinking about like somebody who's like, well, I'm desperate for money, so I'm going to break into a house that I think is empty and look for spare cash laying around? And is that the burglar you think happens, or is it 3 months into some kind of weirdness that's created by a local or national or state level situation, and now people are like, well, I'm going to go live in that house and take everything in it? Like, or is it everybody should have left town and you're the one who stayed behind and it's a hurricane or some natural disaster? I mean, when we talk about home defense, are we talking about from pirates, or are we talking about from an individual person? Or, are we talking about like a gang of people who are rushing the house, or are we talking about a burglar who comes in with a stocking cap and is quiet?
That's kind of more what I was thinking of when I started thinking about it. Definitely, I think it does kind of matter, but not as much as people. I think they're for myself. There is like a minimum, probably 5.56 that I would use, but just the fact that there is a gun there for like a breaking and entering or something like that. I think anything is better than nothing, but is it crucial that there's a minimum?
Well, so then it's go back to, what are we talking about? Like, are you going to go to what's happened before and only plan for what has already happened? In which case you need to look at police records either for your neighborhood or your city, which is wrong, right? Because you can do your state, and that's going to be wrong because the state's a whole lot of people and a whole lot of neighborhoods. If you do your city, that's still pretty wrong because there's different neighborhoods. So you'd have to go figure out the historical situation in your neighborhood. And if you think that what can happen has already happened, and anything that could happen has already happened, so I can look at history and know what's going to happen. There's a lot of people that figure that's the way it is. Like all the I'm going to go ahead and rule out anything unusual. So the only thing that could ever happen here is what's already happened here. And then you go look at the news, or I guess the police blotter, whatever it's called, and you research what could happen in your neighborhood, and then you get stuff for that circumstance. But I still say, or you could look at what has happened historically throughout time, and that would be whatever happened in New Orleans with the floods, or like I can't think of other places because I don't dwell on this stuff, but natural disaster situations. And then we of course had the unprecedented bullshit of 2020. And I'm not talking about the politically motivated, what are those things called, where they would like take over parks and hang out there, but like I'm talking like the craziness of like we don't have enough toilet paper, and like that stuff didn't get out of hand, but something politically or creative, artificially, like that's a real situation. And what are you gonna go looking for a new rifle then? So are you looking for what historically has already happened only, or what potentially could happen? And if you look at the potentially could happen, then why wouldn't you look at world wars? Why wouldn't you look at what could happen if all political boundaries stopped working? And that's my answer. Like people that are living in a fantasy if they think that like, well, the least amount of thing that could ever happen is some guy accidentally breaks into my house thinking it's somebody else's house, and he's wearing his the whole black burglar outfit, and he's quiet and he's got a little sack and he's looking for cash laying around, and he's going to run out and he's trying to feed his family. Like what the hell? That might happen some places, but in reality it's probably gang kids trying to get into a gang. So you got to go in there and you got to kill whoever's in there, or you got to go in there and you got to rob it, or something like that. Or it's going to be, hey, we don't live in this country, but we're coming in here this afternoon. Or this evening, we're going to break into as many houses as we can, and we're going to book back to our country this evening. So who cares what we leave in our wake? I mean, seriously, like, are we talking about theoretical? And if we are, is it the theoretical least that could ever happen, or the theoretical most? So I say go to the theoretical most, especially if you have kids. And then you have a rifle because you got to take it outside. And I don't care what you come up with. I'm going to come up with another theoretical that you had to take it outside. And then if you take it outside with a shotgun, you're wasting your time. You can't even shoot a bird on the other side of the yard with a shotgun, realistically. So it's a great skill to be able to shoot a bird on the other side of a yard, realistically. So people that want shotguns, I disregard that. That's not tactically sound. So now you're talking 5.56. Because what, are you going to have a 22 and shoot the other side of your yard? But again, if you got a bunch of people coming in, you want one shot, one person down. One shot, one person down. People don't want to think about it that way.
I tend to agree with you, but just kind of thinking about it, I guess it's thinking more, do you planning for the rule or planning for the exception? And
there you go. Yeah, that's the way of saying it less faster.
I tend to not so much. I guess I don't know. Trying to see where I fit. I guess I kind of plan for the exception because I've got different calibers, and when I bought them, I don't expect to ever have to use them, but I've got different guns to do different jobs. And then there's a few of them in there that can do many jobs. They're not great at any one job, but they can do pretty good across the spectrum. But I was just kind of thinking, looking at the YouTube videos that I've seen, where as soon as somebody, their home invasions, and somebody fights back, and you don't always know what rifles they have while they're fighting. But as soon as they start shooting back, the intruders all flee because, you know, they're not there for a shootout. They were just there to commit a crime, and they've met resistance and left. You have any input on this, Gary, or is it?
I just sitting here thinking about it. I'm not sure. Not sure how I'd answer this, tell you the truth. Not real sure. I think everybody's situation's a little different too. Some of us have big houses we have to take care of. Some of us live in apartments. It's going to be a little different situation. I'm never going out in my yard, more than likely, since that would require going down 2 floors just to go out of the yard. So I got to worry about wall penetration. So you and your house might have different considerations than I do on what you would use.
Yeah.
You know
And,
what I mean?
you know, I'm not so much trying to figure out what the specific thing everybody should use. It's just kind of discussing the topic. So,
Of minimum.
to, you know, people, it's something for people to think about.
Yeah. I mean, obviously in close quarters like this, it's going to be a little bit different situation. But to me, I'd say minimum 9mm. I know G-Web's isn't going to like that answer.
Well, I guess it's better than nothing.
That's true.
I will say that I have a Taurus TH9, and it is one of my home defense guns. Sits in a specific place in case I need it. Abigail's out there. Abigail Sorsha Finnegan. Justin Grimm. It's a double barrel 12 gauge coach gun, double aught buck, and a pistol as a backup during regular times is what I roll with. G23, one AK-74 is all you need. Ozzy. So I use my Ruger 9mm charger with a folding brace and 32 round mag. Volker Rumble said MP5 for discreet carry, 15 or 20 round mags.
No, thank you. How much does that cost?
A lot.
And then to replace it, it would cost you that much. So no, thank you. Those are great when Uncle Sam is paying for them.
Abigail said 16-inch AR-15 and 5.56 with red dot, 3 times magnifier, high candela light, and 2-point sling.
Mm-hmm. You can bring all that to nothing. You can bring all that and just have it slung. You know what I mean? Like you can have everything and only need to show it or whatever. If that's what you're saying is 99% of the time, which I agree with 99% of the time, you don't need nothing. But it's those times when what you're preparing for. Unless you live somewhere like, I don't know where Snob lives, but I'm assuming he lives somewhere where there's distance, and then you might want to go 308 or something bigger, right?
Well, he's out in the country, so yeah.
That's, I mean, yeah.
Well, nobody can even make it down his road, so he's pretty safe. Vulcan Rumble said 2,000.
That's
So
a lot.
he's talking the semi-auto.
Oh, but still, that's a lot of money to have
Yeah,
a tool.
it's more than I would spend. And Abigail said a 16-inch barrel will give you enough velocity to reach out and have good terminal ballistics out 300 meters. Yeah, I'm thinking about. I took my 2.556s with the red dots. Took them out to the range the other day and sighted them in. We kind of talked about it, and I'm thinking about changing one of those, taking the red dot off and putting fixed sights on it. But I'm not sure if I should or not.
How come?
I was not happy with the backup sights that are on it. I've got one set is just the Magpul backup sights. One is Dagger Defense. And then I just got some Mepro lights.
I have the first two you mentioned.
But I don't know. I just haven't been happy overall. They do all right. But I was thinking, normally, if the laws hadn't changed in Washington, I would just build another rifle so I could have a rifle with fixed sights. But we can't do that right now. So I was thinking about taking one of the ones I have now and putting fixed sights on them.
Should be easy enough to do.
Yeah, it's not really a problem. I just don't know if I want to do it or not. Abigail said 3 times magnifier is for, I think, general purpose rifle. Like I only had one fighting rifle for the rest of my life. It'd be that 16-inch setup with dot and magnifier. I kind of go back and forth on if I've thought about getting a magnifier. And it's like, well, I don't know if I really need it. Because I've had mine not super accurate at 200 yards, and I'm not realistically going to be shooting over that. Not likely. Mine are set up and intended for closer than that, up to maybe really not over 100 yards, but I mean, unless I absolutely had to, because I've got other rifles that are a little better at reaching out. She also said, where I live, I most likely won't be engaging anyone past 250 meters. So a 300 meter capability with fighting rifle is what would work for me. And I also got to be able to positively ID the threat. That's kind of a big thing.
Only in rule of law.
Yeah.
Well, when it turns into a bunch of pitchforks and torches on the horizon and the houses are burning on their way to you, are you like still in the same circumstances? And that has happened in our lifetime 3 times in our lifetime. Twice in LA. Billions of dollars in damage. I mean, it's not like it's unreality. And if you look at world wars, it's happened way more than that.
Guns and Waters is out there. Good evening. I think it is still. I understand your point, but it is still kind of important to know what you're shooting at, who you're shooting at.
Yeah, most of the time.
Even if
they're literally
even
a
if
crowd of
things-
people with pitchforks and torches, and the houses are burning as they walk down past them.
well, that's if everyone that you see is involved in what's going on, yes. But if there's you see people at a distance and one of them is somehow engaging with you and you shoot somebody else that isn't, that maybe just happened to be there when that other guy came by, you just shot somebody that's not involved.
I mean, yeah, but I could also come up with 1,000, I could match a hypothetical for hypothetical of, 8 different ways. So I hear what you're saying. I'm just trying to say there are definitely times when it don't matter.
Yeah, I even if things go to pot, it still matters, I think. Because yes, you will be absolutely safe if you shoot every single person that you see.
Well,
But
there's a difference between shooting everybody you see and shooting the guy throwing the torch and knowing who the guy shooting the torch, throwing the torch is. So I don't care who the guy throwing the torch is. I see him throwing a torch. That's a target.
that's what I'm saying. If the guy throwing the torch is running by somebody that's not involved with the guy throwing the torch, and you don't care who you're shooting, you shoot the guy that's not
Talking
involved.
about 2 different things. Then you're taking my speech out of context. Identifying the target and caring who it is versus shooting indiscriminately into a crowd of people. I didn't ever say that, did I? No,
What?
I'm not saying that.
You said
I'm
it didn't
saying
matter.
Down the street, identification of a target doesn't matter. If down the street there's somebody throwing torches into houses, you're shooting at the guy throwing torches. Who cares who that person is?
Then you identified the target, is what
Fine.
I'm saying.
That's fine. And we're
that's
saying
what
2 different things, but we're saying the same thing. I think that I'm not shooting indiscriminately into people, because then you'd have a belt-fed machine gun. That's called strafe, or it's called fire. I'm trying to say, the word. But
Yeah.
when we're talking about identification of a target at distance, you can tell by actions who they are, and that's all you need to know. And it's still
Well,
things.
to me, that's identifying the target.
Well, that's fine. You do that with an optic at 300 yards, not when they're at your house next door, torching that house. You've seen them torch 16 houses on the block down to yours, and you're going to wait until, not grazing fire, but I can't think of it, but to keep people's heads down, essentially.
Suppressing
But
fire.
suppressive fire, thank you. But yeah, I'm not talking about that. I mean, that might be necessary at times in the craziest of situations, but I'm talking about riots. I'm thinking specifically about the people sitting on the rooftops in LA. I've been there. I've gone to the street that it happened on, and they were sitting there watching from their perspective riots of people coming down the street, mobs of people, I guess, in a riot, and the houses next to them, the buildings and things, the businesses, catching a fire. And you're not going to just shoot. Nobody shot randomly into the crowds. But when the person would come up with a rifle at the beginning of that crowd, or when the right person would come up with a thing, That's what we're talking about. And when you have the ability to stop someone at distance, guess what happens? The crowd disappears. And that's why that's why Koreatown, Little Korea, didn't burn as much as it.
Uh-oh.
He gone again. I didn't do it.
I agree. I do think we were both agreeing. I just, the way you had put it, I guess I misunderstood what you were saying. He should be back in a minute. He's been having technical problems here
Yeah.
this evening. He's going to restart his computer, so he should be back in just a little bit.
Okie doke.
Like I said, discussion wasn't intended to say you need this thing or that thing. It was just more thinking through.
Right.
Abigail said, we civilians can't legally or monetarily afford suppressive fire. That's kind of true. I went through and I had all my rifle ammunition in one big tote. So I thought, well, I should. There, he's back. We got you back. Is your mic working there? Yes, no? You're muted.
He's muted.
I just can't touch the wire at all.
Oh.
Definitely need a new mic or a new mic, maybe.
Well, you sound good for right now.
Anyway, that's all I'm getting at is I think we're talking two different definitions of identity. I agree. And then I'm just saying that a lot of people like to think that we don't have, or we have all these things we got to worry about when we do and then once you get to that until part, you don't have to worry about that anymore. And do you calculate that or not? That's the question. And everybody calls that rule of law usually.
Oh.
No, it's just my cord. I touched my cord. I had fiddled with my cord and it was right in front of the screen and I wasn't thinking as I was talking and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to move that cord out of my way. And then that killed the mic again.
But so I decided, well, I'll separate them out by caliber into smaller totes because I don't know what I have of each caliber anymore. And as I did that, I realized that I had a lot less of some stuff than I thought I did. Do you guys? Well, Gary probably has a spreadsheet. Do you keep track of stuff you got, or do you just kind of, you have it on the shelf and you look at it and think I need more?
I inventoried it several years ago. Now, is it up to date? No. I was just curious one time and I did an inventory, but it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to update it. That's for sure. I've added a lot to it and subtracted some over the last couple of years. So.
Yeah, I did. I was surprised at how little of some stuff, because I hadn't been replenishing it. I had been is I try to every month or every couple months, I'll go up to Cabela's or where, excuse me, and I'll buy a box of this and a box of that. And I guess I hadn't been doing that, and I didn't realize that I hadn't. So I need to concentrate on a few calibers to get them back up.
Are we talking about ammunition now?
Yeah. I was just mentioning that I had all my rifle ammunition in one big tote, and I decided to separate them out into smaller totes by caliber. And I realized that I was almost out of a couple calibers because I hadn't been paying it, keeping track of it.
First off, you should have a tote for each caliber in each rifle.
That's kind of what I'm moving to. I've got them separated out. Now I can see, instead of looking into one big box and kind of trying to gauge what I have, I can, see what I've got or don't have.
You should be able to inventory your what do you call, like, your deep storage, like the stuff that you have thousands of, and then have like another shelf or another cabinet or another place where you keep open boxes. So whenever you're buying cases, you put them over here, and whenever you're buying boxes, you put them over here, and you shoot out of your boxes and you give your cases to your grandkids.
Yeah, I don't.
Or the bad guys, either one.
I don't buy cases very often, just because I have, some people will concentrate on one or two calibers, and I've kind of spread out across a lot of calibers. So I'll buy a little bit of this, this and that to spread out the cost.
Well, but everybody's got, like, let's say you got 12 guns. I don't know, what's the number of guns people have? 20 guns? Some number of guns, right? And of them, 80% are stupid. Like, nobody has all good guns. I know a couple of people that have all good guns, but even the people I know that collect guns or buy guns as investments and different things, like, that don't even shoot them, like, they even have stupid ones because they'll buy things that they know are going to be a good investment or that's a interesting gun, but it's a dumb gun. Or they just buy something they think is cool, and then it turns out to be a dumb gun, like a lot of those assault weapons ban thumbhole versions. Everybody thought were cool during the time, but 6 years later, stupid, worthless gun. So either case, you've got a couple that are your workhorses. Those are the ones you buy out your ammo for. So I don't count it if, like, oh, I have that 138 Super. Yeah, you don't need to get 1,000 rounds for that one. But if your 38 Super is your go-to, then yeah, have a couple of thousand rounds of it.
That's kind of the way that I have been working it, where the like my 30-06, I don't hunt, I'm other than going, taking to the range. It's more of a just if I ever needed to take down large game or something, I've got a 30-06 bolt action rifle. So I don't have as much as that as I do a 5.56 or 300 Blackout. But
the time to buy 30-06 was when it was still surplus World War II ammo.
Yeah,
or at least surplus war ammo, like made by Lake City or whatever. Because I remember being able to just buy that stuff so cheap because not that many people even shot it ever. Still, nobody ever really shot that thing hard, except for right after the war. So that ammo used to be really cheap. I think I still have a ton of it that's on links that I don't even have the gun anymore. But I suspect if you bought old linked World War II ammo, it's probably a premium now. It's probably not cheaper. Plus, I'd probably been for like a 1918 or an 1919 or whatever that Belfed is.
Yeah, just looking at Midway, It's like $1.19 around and up.
I bought all my ammo when I was a kid. I'd go to a gun store show, or I suppose if I went to a gun store, and if I needed a box of ammo, I'd buy 3. And if you just do that every time you go to a gun shop or a gun show, you end up with more ammo than you ever need. Or hopefully you'll ever need.
That's
And then
kind
you
of-
also always buy it cheap. You sometimes buy it expensive, but you're always buying it cheap, like for sure.
yeah.
Because it only spikes expensive for a little while. And you're probably not buying it when it's peak prices because you're not going to a gun show at that point. So I definitely bought it cheaper and more expensive, but I've definitely bought all the cheap ammo and partial boxes. I don't know if you can still do that, but back in the day, you go to a gun show and somebody'd shoot like 4 rounds out of it, and they can't sell it as a new box anymore. So it's like buying a used car. You get all that depreciation because of 4 rounds being gone. Who cares? Like, yeah, I'll buy that box of 24 or whatever it is.
Ozzy said, I started buying ammo again, not as much as I did pre-2020, but a little here and there. That's kind of what I tried to do. Like I said, I don't do it like every paycheck, but every month or every other month, try and buy something, a couple boxes, whether it's a couple of boxes of the same caliber or, one of different calibers, just so I'm accumulating. Justin Grimm, the biggest mistake I see with people would be not having enough mags. Semi-autos go through mags very quickly. I fall in that category where I don't have enough. Not as many as I probably should have.
Nobody has enough mags because y'all buy guns that their mags cost $70 and you can't buy a bunch of mags for it.
Yeah.
That's fault. Every time somebody asks, what gun should I get? One you can buy mags for. Well, I want a gun with a grip angle that I want. Well, I want a gun with the thing I can get. Okay, then buy $70 mags and have 4 mags for your gun. And I shouldn't even say that. They never have 4 mags for those guns. They'll have the 2 that came with it or the one that comes with it and another one.
That is definitely a thing. When last time I went looking for H&K mags, they're $45 a piece and out of stock everywhere.
It's not like I just learned my lesson in the 90s when I had that H&K, or we had that H&K that we passed around, and we have 12 mags for it, and we paid dearly for those mags. Like, they were a lot of money back in the day. Even when they got cheaper, they were still twice as much as a Glock mag.
Yeah.
But now that's a great point. Mags are the biggest issue ever. Everybody thinks of them as like they're going to last forever because they treat them all nice and tender. They make your gun stop working. So if you had some sort of what do they call that thing? The DEF CON, is that what it's called? The DEF CON countdown thing from War Games? What was that thing called? Like we're 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, close to a nuclear war.
Yeah.
How close are we to some kind of craziness happening where you have to deal with any of this, other than like a robbery that's random? I'm talking like the gangs from people, like they'll say like a gang from Brazil is terrorizing neighborhoods in Florida and California or Texas or something. They'll come up across the border, literally just drive up, 'cause it's like an hour away, rob a bunch of houses all night, and then drive back across the border and fly back to Brazil. Like, they're only in the United States is like a crime vacation.
I think it's very regional.
Terrorist and all that.
For me, 4. If five
1 to 5, yeah.
5 is the lowest, 1 is the highest. I think that's the way the DEF CONs go.
Yeah.
For me, it's a 4. It's not very likely.
You don't even think this guy's.
But there's a problem in SeaTac right now. It's kind of around where the airport is. People stealing cars that are left long term, while people are on flights and stuff from hotels and parking lots, and they steal the car to go do other crimes.
That's kind of always been a thing. I mean, unless you're an idiot, you go to jail a couple of times and you learn to steal a car to do your crimes.
Yeah, and it's the story I saw on it. The cops are like, "Yeah, we're out here every night." It's then I saw another story, with a lot of crimes going on in an area. So I think that would really depend on, like if you're in Chicago, some of the Chicago neighborhoods, or St. Louis, yes, you might be higher on that list, but for me, it's not. It's it's a very low threat. I
think of that as like if you're in a part of the country where there's a lot of crime anyway, then that's just your normal rate. I'm thinking of like, what's the chances of outside forces? Like you hear about all these. Well, there's so many people in the country that are of fighting age from these countries, and there's like sleeper cells or whatever supposed to be the implication. Like if that's really the case, how close are we to having some kind of a disruption where like, oh crap, we wake up and all the internets are down, or we wake up and you can't buy toilet paper anymore because they chopped down all the toilet paper trees or something like that. I'm not saying like, I know some places in the country live in 3 and some places live in 5 and some places, what I mean? Like there's different, but I'm saying like, oh, maybe it's the doomsday clock is what I should say. Maybe is that the same thing?
No, doomsday clock
a little bit different.
Yeah, it's a little different, and I don't put a lot of stock in the doomsday clock personally.
I'm just thinking of that movie, so I'm mixing that up because the DEF CON thing is more real, I think, and more of like an indicator of like how much on alert we should be. And I don't disagree with you. I would say we're probably at 5. I think that we're probably getting a lot of the, because it's the election year, a lot of the extremes. Like, hey, look at this extreme thing that's happening. Be careful, it's going to be the norm.
M. Gabriel,
not be careful, but be scared. It's going to be the norm.
Yeah.
As far as nukes and stuff, like real nukes, I don't know. We should be aware that China is flying around with Russia in, doing like how they'll fly right next to Alaska and bug us. We do the same thing to them, but they're flying with Russia at Alaska, which is outside their range. So that means they're either they are flying from Russia, or they've added capability to their bombers, which they haven't. So that is a difference than in prior years. China and Russia are down with each other to where Chinese bombers are flying out of Russia.
They're down with each other because they're both communists, but China and Russia don't really get along.
No, I hear you, but at least they're doing that together, and that's just an odd thing. So I mean, there are some reasons to be concerned that the real DEF CON, like the real nuclear threat, but I mean, I don't see them just launching nukes because they got nothing else to do.
No, I would be more concerned about the drone capabilities, honestly.
If you need a heated bidet, I have some links for you. FYI. Gizzard has toilet paper links for you if you need cases and cases of toilet paper.
Yeah, that's true.
You can get way cheaper toilet paper by just having it uncut without the perforations, and then you just get yourself a knife. So you can get one of Gizzard's links to get a knife too, and then get some unperforated toilet paper.
That's absolutely true.
I will say bidets are nice.
I never liked them. Now I'm a big fan. I don't even know. I don't have one that works, but I'm a big fan of them.
If you get one that's self-cleaning, though.
I sat on a bidet one time in my life, but it was the kind at a hotel where it was a separate toilet. Like it was a whole other thing. So nowadays everybody gets toilet seats. We're getting off in a weird topic here.
Yeah.
Is 9
Vulcan,
millimeter, 9 millimeter? Yeah, there's only one stupid 9 millimeter. It's all the same. Actually, there's 14 9 millimeters, but those are the two, or the three ways of saying, no, the two ways of saying the one that everybody uses. 9 by 9, by 9 by 18, right? No, 9 by 19 is the regular one, right?
yes.
Now I'm mixing myself up. 18 is Makarov. 21 is Largo. And then there's
Well, 380 is
14 more.
17.
9 by 17. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's different ones in between too.
I have both 9 millimeter NATO and 9 millimeter Kurtz.
Now there's also 9 millimeters is one of those calibers where they make Uzis and other full autos, Stens and things in 9 millimeter. So typically when the Army is going to make something for full auto, especially what do they call it, blowback or not blowback, closed bolt full auto, they're going to want to give it as much oomph as they can. So you can, same thing with 30-06 we were talking about. Like if you buy that for a 1919 machine gun, that's not necessarily the same ammo they make for the bolt action gun. So you can buy from some countries like from some runs, I guess, hot 9 millimeters that are made to go through full autos. So it's not that they're different. It's just that they're kind of at the high end of the variant or whatever, the variables. And you might get that with 380 also because of the Scorpion, right? Or was that Makarov? Oh, it's 380, isn't it? No, it must be.
I don't know.
The real ones must have been Makarov. Oh, you got that one with the purple handle? Right on.
The
Did you talk to
BPS
BPS yet, Gizzard?
Did I
try
talk to
contacting
who?
them? That company BPS from Ukraine?
Have not.
Okay.
Are they made in the Ukraine or just
Yeah.
based? Are they
No, they're made in Ukraine.
able to produce right now with what's going on?
Oh, yeah. It sounds like Ukraine's the size of Texas, and it's all happening in like Fort Worth. So, or like,
Oh.
one chunk of it. The rest of the country's, I think, just fine. I mean, I'm sure they're dealing with it, but you know what I mean? They're still business as usual.
I heard that there's bus stops in the Ukraine that'll have like a basket of Molotov cocktails and instructions on how to use them.
Oh, just like community
Yeah.
in case Russians come through. That's the way it should be.
Woods is out there. He said buck 110, just saying. And Ozzy, yes, 9 millimeter Kurtz is 380. It's 9 millimeter short.
Are you live?
I am.
I mean, Ozzy.
Oh,
It just kind of seemed like a 3-minute ago thing or 2-minute ago.
Well, he won't hear your question for another 2 minutes if that's the case.
Yeah, exactly. We'll find out in 4 minutes now if that's the way it works. Justin saying we're at 3. What do you think? Do you want to get political? What do you think would happen if? Are we supposed to say? Yankee was saying we're supposed to call her Kamala. I don't believe that. But if the vice president gets elected, what do you think that happens to the wars? Do you think she's like, fuck these wars, or she's like, yeah, whatever, we need more wars?
I don't think it will. There won't be any major changes from what's going on right now. I don't think. M. Gabriel is asking, are some 6mm bullets too long for AR mag length?
Oh, for sure. I got a whole bunch in my bullet collection that are for like bolt actions from the World War II era that are super long. They're like 30-06 long.
Woodson More War, military industrial complex.
Well, he's saying either way. I think he means whoever wins. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like she's more of a warmonger because she'll either want to start wars because it'll be a distraction. I think some of them feel like a war is a good distraction for all the bullshit they want to pull, or they make money. I'm pretty sure Biden made money off the wars, or whatever's going on over there. But then they got investments in the companies that make the reef supplies and that. So I think she's more of a warmonger than Trump seemed to get us out of everything. He didn't seem like he's invested in those companies.
Justin said if she's president, I don't expect her to go anywhere. I think the same bureaucracy that's running the country right now will run it if she's president. So I don't think she'll have a lot of power.
Well, okay, but here's the question. I don't disagree, but won't they be able to run her differently than old man? She's just got a whole different set of, like, she's able to keep up. She can do stuff. She can, dodge and jump around and weave. She can get out of the way of stuff where they got to do stuff real slow with that guy.
I think it'll be exactly the same, honestly. Because she, they can throw her out there to laugh and mumble whatever nonsense she wants to mumble, and then just keep doing what they're doing.
Cackle. Gotta get better at my cackle. I had a command man before. Now we got to figure out a new command man.
And I don't even know what her catchphrase is.
Right now, it's turning out to be, oh man, did you fall out of a coconut tree? It's all over the Instagram, at least. There's little songs and stuff, and they're both ways. Like, they'll make the little song with her saying you fall out of a coconut tree, and then people that hate her will play the song, and people that love her will play the song. So the songs win in either way. Did you hear that one, though? Did you fall out of a coconut tree quote?
No.
It's like, would you think you fell out of a coconut tree? We're all living in the same world. Like, you can't just do what you want. You don't do it. You just didn't come out of a coconut tree. Something like to that extent. Like, we all got to be communists because none of us fell out of a coconut tree. Like, we're all living here on the ground. We don't get to act like we're not part of it's one of them kind of like, you don't get to think you're an individual when, you buy stuff from other people or other people exist. You got to be part of the whole collective. That was the other one. What can be without being encumbered by what is past? There's 4 minutes of her saying that. That's why I can't get that one out of my head. Did you see? I'm assuming you haven't seen that clip.
No, I've seen her say things in a similar fashion.
That exact quote, there's a thing for 4 minutes of just clips of all these different speeches, and it must have been when she was running for president. And it is nauseating to watch anybody say anything that repetitively, but that, which is just it's like a weird misdirection, right? Like, it's just a nothing thing to say to sound like you're saying something without saying anything. And she's saying it to so many people that it just makes her look so fake. But they could do that to anybody who's that fake, is to say the same thing over and over to so many. Like, she'll say it to a little child, and then she'll say it to like a group of people, and then she'll say it on a stage just like all over the place. Like, seriously, it just illustrates that they just say the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over when they're on these campaigns.
Ozzy said if she wins, it will be the same or worse.
Oh, for sure the worst.
Woods wants to know what happened to the Let's Go Brandon shirts.
A lot of people losing money on that. Same people that lost money on the Hawk Tua thing.
But I guess it would depend on how invested they were. If they went into it understanding that it's a short term, make what money you can now, or if they thought it would go on for a long time and heavily.
Well, in order to have enough inventory to really make a fortune at election time, you really do need to create orders, and you're not going to be able to. Even if you were doing them yourself, you'd have to start early to get a lot of stuff built up. So if somebody realistically was going to try selling them for election time, they probably already have the orders in China in. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're doing print on demand, but if you're really doing like, I'm going to buy something for $3 from China and sell it for $13 type of thing, then you've got to order those, and you got to order smalls and mediums and larges and all that. So there probably are some people losing some money on that guy kicking out.
I saw a clip of an interview with the guy that invented the Bratz dolls.
Oh yeah,
popular, and that kind of happened to him, where they became popular, and then he kind of invested heavily, and they stopped being popular, and he still has a basement full of Bratz dolls.
Oh man, when was that made? Because I'm pretty sure they're popular, or they've gone up and down in popularity, I should say. I think because I've seen them be popular again.
I'm not sure, because I was watching a show that was playing the clip, so I don't know when the clip was from.
That's super interesting. Yeah, that's frustrating, because I know that those were an interesting, what do you call it, like phenomenon, because they weren't a big toy company. That was just somebody who's like, what they should have is dolls that have some flair, like some style. Right. And then, well, that's the problem when you try to do it yourself, right? You never know when to double down. I guess I've got a couple of patch runs that were not popular that I still got, most of them sitting here. I mean, it happens. Can you hear this dog? No, he stopped doing it. He stopped doing it. He's like
making kind of a squeaky noise.
Yeah, he was squeaking in his sleep. Take him to this one store with me when I go there now, and there's like 500 ladies that go, "Oh my goodness, the pug is here!" And they all know he's Bacon Bit. They're like, "Oh, Bacon Bit's here!" So they like run over and pet him. So he gets all excited. He doesn't even have to be in the parking lot now. You know how dogs are; they know when they're near the area. So he's like, he goes out of control as soon as we get near the parking lot. And then I went in there today with him, and I think he's having a dream of getting all the pettings. And now they bought him biscuits, so when I'm checking out, they fight over who's going to give him a biscuit. Turns out you can take a pug into any store pretty much, and then nobody cares. If anything, everybody just loves that there's a pug in the store. Well, life hack for anybody that's thinking about getting a pug. I could not do that with the Doberman.
Oh, probably not.
Not the same, at least.
Maybe one of those miniature Dobermans.
Oh, totally. Yes, definitely. I almost got one of them, too. Well, I would have definitely got one if I would have had the money.
Ozzy said he needs to get more of the Bark at the Moon patches. Ones like this. Woo-hoo.
I got one too.
I need to put it on my patch battle.
I've got a frame that everybody gave me. I think it was at Wanamaker one year. And I've got everybody's patches on that. Everybody that I know.
I've got one panel that it's people that I know, and then the other one I've only got two. The other one is the ones that I liked, and kind of all the other patches that I get, usually end up giving out prizes and stuff.
I don't know if I would paint a magazine. I don't know if there's intentionally enough play in the magazine well, but I would not want to get a bunch of any kind of fouling in a magazine well unnecessarily, and I wouldn't want to mess with the, I don't know if that's called geometry or trigonometry there. Like I wouldn't want to mess with it. Even on an HK, they're pretty rugged. I wouldn't want to add anything to that dynamic there.
I've never painted a magazine. There's some I've seen that look cool, but I just never wanted to.
It's like painting the inside of a slide or something.
Mr. Bob said, can you imagine Kamala warning Iran not to touch our boats?
No, I'd rather have like somebody who has some balls, like a Tulsi. I could see like a Tulsi telling them, and then it would have been neat. I would have liked to have seen a bunch of grinning dudes behind Tulsi saying, "Don't touch our boats to Iran," because they're anti-women, right? So they'd want to go touch our boats just because a woman told them not to.
Yeah, I heard a story. I can't say if it's true or not, but when Trump was negotiating the withdrawal from Afghanistan, that he said, we'll slowly pull back if you leave us alone. And reportedly said, if you don't, and he points at the guy at the table, said, I will kill you.
No, it was better than that. You heard about that? He brings up a PDA and he shows the guy his house and he goes,
yeah.
This, you'll die. And they're like, okay, we're going to let you we're going to let you do what you need. But yeah, they showed him his house and he's like, okay, I'll leave you. I understand.
What said they would have a Defense Department general say all that?
Maybe. We like to poke Iran, though, and a first woman president. I mean, I don't know. There's been other countries with women heads of state, but I don't know if they've had the balls to go poke Iran.
Golda Meir, maybe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
outside the obvious. England? Did she?
Iron Lady.
Who's that?
Yeah, England.
Okay.
Thatcher.
Yeah. Okay, that's true. I'd rather have, I don't know, I don't like her and I don't know her, but she seems like somebody who had balls for a lady, right? Like I'd want somebody like her being the one telling Iran to fuck off.
It's kind of interesting with Thatcher. Before she became prime minister, she had a really high-pitched voice. And she had a voice coach to lower her voice so she would be taken more seriously. Mr. Bob said it would be bad for you to touch our boats because the boats are ours, see, and touching them would be bad. So you probably shouldn't touch our boats.
That's probably right.
Bad thing. Touching's a bad thing, and you don't want to do what bad things are.
It's our no-no square.
Touching boats is bad. Okay.
I'm still kind of surprised that we're already in the end of July and it's not crazier than it's been. I kind of figured it would be crazier than this.
It'd be interesting to see what happens. I don't trust any of the polls really because they're all over the place, and you can never trust any one poll. You have to take an aggregate of multiple polls to have any inkling of what might be, the true polling.
Well, there's so many factors now that even if the polling was accurate, like what would the polling even do, right? Like it would only be the people that involved. So there's just so many more people out there. There's no way to poll them all, right? So there's just no accurate way to do a poll.
And if you overpoll, any one demographic, that can skew the poll one way or another.
I thought didn't she already pick a vice president?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking she did, because then I would know who it was, right?
The goddamn bacon said you can only trust one poll. That's what she said. Can't even trust that one.
So switching topics, this weekend is Rick Ector's thing where he brings, well, I think this year he said it's going to be 1,500 ladies. So he brings a bunch of instructors to Detroit, and then there's 2 different gun shops or ranges in Detroit that ladies can show up, get an orientation and a familiarization, and then if they want to, they can shoot. And it's kind of an assembly line, but it's one-on-one. So a bunch of ladies show up and they kind of hang out and watch and get this instruction. It's been doing that for, I want to say this 13 years or something. And then the same weekend, or right now, is the National African American Gun Owners Association. NAGA has their convention in Dallas. I really wanted to get to that one. This is, I think, their second. It's hard to remember because they got glitched with the bullshit that year. They were going to do their first one in 20. I think their first one didn't happen until 22. So would this make their third? It's their second or third, but definitely wanted to check it out. But I haven't heard much about either of those. And those are, well, Rick's thing last year was a pretty big deal. He brought so many instructors in that it was a pretty good, what do you call that, effort of sharing it out because so many people were involved. They were all sharing it. So it was quite a bit of word about it. I didn't even hear nothing about it this year except for Rick himself.
I haven't heard anything on either of those, but I don't know, kind of lately haven't been watching a lot of gun stuff. Just kind of taking a break from some of the gun stuff.
Yeah.
I did hear apparently there's people are buying counterfeit keys that fit the blue mailboxes, the post off, the drop off boxes for your mail.
Mm-hmm.
And
so they're buying keys that are that work but are not supposed to be out there, or keys that are supposed to work but don't work. Okay.
That aren't supposed to be out there, and so the people are breaking into the mail drop-off boxes, and the same keys will open community mailboxes.
Well, that people just don't pay attention to, but yeah, to suggest that there are new keys for everything that a mailman does, that's not paying a lot of attention. They might have 3 or 4 keys, but they're not going to have a new key for every lock they encounter.
Yeah.
So you can get pass keys. I doubt that the same pass key works on. You mean when you go to an apartment and the mail person can open up all the? I don't think that's usually going to be a separate key to the building because they know that people would just go from building to building with that one. But the blue mailboxes, I could totally see that being the same key for a whole. The whole country might use the same key there. But you can buy all these keys. There's lots of things like elevators and all kinds of things that all kind of use the same 3 keys, and you can just go to wherever and buy a set of those keys. It's just people don't pay attention to that stuff.
That was in the news story that the same key will open. Maybe it's just some of the.
Well, maybe it is. I don't know. It would make it a lot easier for mailmen to just carry around one key, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. And that's one of those things where, again, it's been there all the time, but if they notice an uptick in it, then obviously there's some reason for that.
The story that I watched, the cops knew what was going on, so they staked out some of the blue mailboxes and then caught a guy with keys and a bunch of mail in his car.
Just stealing mail, though, not doing boat stuff.
No, just stealing mail. People used to tie the sticky rat traps to a string, throw that in the mail slot, and it would grab, mail, and then they pull it back
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got nothing else to do and you got all evening, probably raid a home mailbox.
Yeah, it'd be a slow way to do it, but yeah.
That's one of the reasons I always think of some asshole throwing like a soggy sponge or something in there. So I always take my mail and shove it in the mail, like in the post office itself. Although that's nothing stopping somebody from doing it in the post office, I suppose. But you know what I mean? I never go to the drive-up thing out front. I go in the post office, throw it in the slot or hand it to somebody ideally.
I don't. The only thing I usually mail are packages. You know, if I'm sending
me
out
too.
prize packages and stuff. So I go to the post office. Now and again, I'll use the mail slot on the community
Like
mail.
some packages fit in there. You know, some bubble envelopes will still fit in there. And those probably won't come out like what you're talking about, but I'm still worried about somebody just throwing a firecracker in there and doing something dumb, throwing a hose in there or something. I mean, I don't even know if that happens very often, but figure why risk it.
There is a grocery store where they had a post office in the grocery store, and out there was kind of a shelf or something that was just back from the counter. And they had a mail slot in there, and people would always throw garbage in there, thinking it was garbage. Oh, so G-Webs?
Definitely heard of that before.
Are you Whatnot is doing, aren't they doing like knives this weekend?
Yeah, it's just so freaking hot and it's thunderstorm season here. So if it's like, it'll be like 111 in the day and then at night it's raining. So I just have no good time to be able to get stuff done that I got to get done. So I just haven't had time to do anything on Whatnot.
Anything else you got coming up you wanted to let everybody know about?
Tomorrow She Fires is on. That's worth listening to in the afternoon.
Do you know what time?
I think it's 3:00 for us, and the rest of the country can go
so.
figure it out. 6:00 maybe for the rest of the metric time zones out there.
Yeah, she's in
I think it's like-
Florida.
5 o'clock here, I think. Yeah.
Anything else? What else you got coming up?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm just, like I say, it's just I'm dealing with the heat and trying not to pay a lot of money on cooling. So I'm not hibernating, but I'm not super ambitious right now.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do a quiz and sneak it in, but I just can't. I just haven't been able to do it.
How about you, Gary? Plug something. Plug away.
Something. All right. Let's see. On my channel, I got the members only chat every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time. And of course, Foul Territory, that's on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central. Tomorrow, don't forget Foreign and Domestic, 6 p.m. Central on the Scottish Americans channel. And then followed by, should be This Week Unloaded on the Unloaded Media channel, which is somewhere in the area of 7:30 p.m. Central Time. So check all those out.
Ozzy said he remembers when there was a really good show on Sunday mornings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's on CBS Sunday Morning. I remember that.
No.
And the goddamn bacon asks, "What's your favorite Hot Pocket?" Asking for a friend. Ham and cheese.
Ham and cheese, definitely.
Something without any meat in it, if they make one like that. But I wouldn't need a Hot Pocket. There's too much processed stuff in there.
There's like a 5 cheese Hot Pocket.
Oh, well, then I need that. You ever taken the thing? It looks like I don't know what to call it. It looks like 2 pieces of metal that squish together like a George Foreman grill, but they're on like long rods, and then you stick it in a campfire. So you put butter on the metal part. You take 2 pieces of bread in there, and then you can either fill it with like fruit, that kind of thing, make it a pie, or you fill it with something else, and then it's like a Hot Pocket. Have you ever seen those?
No.
Oh man! So Essentially, it's a square thing the size of a piece of bread, and then you get a loaf of bread, white bread or whatever, and you just smash it in there, and the crusts get smashed together just like a side of a pie from McDonald's or something, like one of those kind of pies, but it's the size of a piece of bread. Anyway, you butter the thing, and then the bread gets golden brown. Really? I'll have to see if I can. I don't own one.
I've seen the electric versions of those.
Yeah. It's just like that, except they're on long rods, and you stick them into a campfire. We've had them since I was a little kid, so I mean they've been around at stores and stuff. So you just probably never had one. But anyway, yeah, that would be something like that with cheese or something, I guess.
Congratulations to Chris from 740 for winning, whether you know it or not. I will let you know it. And
I hope he gets what's coming to him.
Yeah,
he's gonna get what's coming to him. Next chat will be Wednesday for the Wednesday night mouse party. And I think that's it. I don't think
What
I'm
happened to the
forgetting
bracket this time?
Well, I'll tell you what. I do a bracket. You ask me about the bracket every week. I do a bracket, and you don't even show up.
I was busy sleeping, but
Yeah.
So what? It doesn't work again now. You used it once, so it's gonna be out of commission for another 3 weeks.
No, I had trouble starting the bracket, so I think the glow plugs are going out. So I need to take it apart and check the glow plugs.
It's diesel.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's multi-fuel.
Works off canola oil.
Or you can use uranium. So I guess other than that, I hope everybody has a good rest of the night and go do something good.
You still here? It's over. Go home. Go.